So there's something interesting going on, and I'm sort of unsure actually as to the direction things are going, and I want to see what you think. And I'm talking about the Democratic primary. The Democratic primary sort of has evaporated during the virus without actually being finished, although we were pretty close to wrapping it up. So here's how I kind of see what's taken place so far. We had the beginning of the Democratic primary. We had debates, hard fought, many candidates. Candidates started dropping off. We had our first votes in Iowa, in New Hampshire. This feels like years ago because so much has happened since. And then we had South Carolina. South Carolina, Joe Biden wins a bit by a bigger than expected margin. The momentum clearly shifts. Mayor Pete drops out and endorses Biden. Amy Klobuchar drops out and endorses Biden. Kamala Harris endorses Biden. Biden gets more wins on Super Tuesday, and it starts to seem as though the window is closing for Bernie Sanders. Bloomberg endorses. Biden keeps winning. He wins Super Tuesday. He wins Super Tuesday 2. He wins Super Tuesday 3. We now have Joe Biden ahead, 1215 to 909, a lead of 306 delegates. Tulsi drops out and endorses Biden, much to the dismay of both her supporters and Bernie's supporters. We were supposed to have a primary today in Georgia, but it's been postponed due to the virus. Puerto Rico was supposed to vote in 5 days. That's postponed due to the virus. And now the primary is barely being discussed. Now, I understand why, of course. People are staying home in some states, at least. People are trying to deal with the coronavirus pandemic. But what is the path forward? Because on the one hand, the entire pandemic has actually re-energized Bernie supporters who are saying coronavirus makes the case for Medicare for all so much more clear. Biden's MIA, Bernie's doing live streams, a sort of resurgence in some corners of the internet anyway for Bernie Sanders. And indeed, Joe Biden has been missing. He resurfaced yesterday, did a short stream about the pandemic. It didn't go well. I guess he had a podium at home and it sort of looked like his living room, although it might have been a green screen with a picture of his living room. I couldn't really tell. Everything going wrong, including the teleprompter failing for Joe Biden. Take a look at this short clip.
Beef up the number of responders dealing with these crush of cases. And in addition to that, we have to make sure that we are in a position that we are. Well, let me go to the second thing. I've spoken enough of that. The president must use the Defense Production Act.
So it wasn't good. And then looking at polling, we're also getting less and less polling data because polling has also slowed down due to the pandemic. Looking at just recent polls over the last 6 days, we have national polls from last Wednesday where Biden was plus 24 and plus 21. Poll out of Georgia where Biden was plus 44. Thursday in Connecticut saying Biden is plus 17. And then from Friday, we had a hypothetical matchup poll where both Biden and Bernie are ahead of Trump by 6. And then a national poll which has Biden plus 12. According to that poll, the lead shrinking for Biden heading into the weekend. But again, no polling data at all from this week yet. Biden's lead on Bernie seemingly shrinking a little bit. So what happens now? I mean, is it over in the sense that the remaining primaries, if they happen, will simply be a formality? Does coronavirus change the perspectives on Bernie and Biden so drastically? Is it one of those black swan events that creates a new window of opportunity for Bernie Sanders where there before did not exist one? Is this why Bernie Sanders hasn't dropped out? And then bigger picture, is anyone even thinking about the primary? And most importantly, I'm seeing some people start to say there's not going to be an election in November, so we don't even really have to pay attention. That's very dangerous thinking. It is incredibly unlikely that the election in November is actually postponed. We already talked about the legal issues around that and around the fact that there's a deadline in December for electors to place their votes on the basis of how their respective states voted. Ideally, things will have improved dramatically by November, although under Donald Trump, maybe not. We're now hearing he's thinking of letting it rip, so to speak. But the odds of postponing a presidential election are very, very low. And anybody counting on that is unlikely to be right. So let me know how you see things. What do you think is going on with the Democratic primary? Has anything actually shifted due to coronavirus, or is it just like we saw before, loud enclaves on Twitter and Reddit and the internet. Where it, particularly if you haven't voted yet, if your state hasn't yet voted, I would love to hear what your perspective is on what's going on as well. I've got something really cool today. The first 500 people who see this video and go to davidpakman.com/skill will get a premium membership to Skillshare for 2 months for free. Skillshare is the online learning community offering thousands of classes on almost anything you can imagine. Everything's taught by experts. The classes get split up into bite-sized lessons. So even if you're really busy like me, you can fit Skillshare into your schedule. There are classes on drawing, painting, photography, video editing, web design, running a small business, and that's not even scratching the surface. I got some great ideas from a recent class I took called YouTube Success. And even though we've been on YouTube for years, I still got a lot out of it. They have classes for every skill level, whether you want to get better at something you're already experienced in or you want to explore something totally new. And like I said, the first 500 people who see this video and go to davidpakman.com/skill will get a completely free premium membership for 2 months, giving you access to every class Skillshare offers. Check it out. I put the link right underneath this video.